every time someone hits the go button, you have to give us a little singing introduction, but that's okay. Welcome everyone to another fantastic episode of Our Parents' Basement, a podcast that never skips leg day. Thank you for joining us once again on a fantastic evening. I am so glad to be here, and not only am I joined by two great folks, we have an extra special guest this evening. I can't wait to, chat with him for a bit and get into tonight's topic. So let's just dive right in, shall we? I'm Philip. I'll be hosting for the evening. And with me are some, like I said, some fantastic folks. The first is Jason, but I call him there he is. Put your phone away.
Hey,
Toys off
how
the
y'all
table.
doing? Hey, sorry.
How's it going tonight?
I'm so sorry. I'm doing well. I'm excited about tonight. I'm having a good time. I know the Cubbies are about to lay one down. Of course, I'm not a Cubs fan, but Charles is, and so he might have a stroke during this. So y'all be ready.
Might have a stroke too.
The stroke already fucking happened, dude, when that grand slam got hit.
So is the game on now? Are you multitasking?
Unfortunately.
He's got beer in his hand. He's drinking himself into death.
Got my Polish beer because I'm from Chicago, and not officially Polish, but you're from Chicago.
You're from Chicago.
You're Polish
That's
by
never
default.
come up. I'm glad. I did not know that. I can't believe you've never let us know you're from Chicago.
Speaking of which, let's introduce the next person. Charles, how's it going tonight?
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ, I already said it.
Jeez, dude.
Poor Charles. He's you doing okay, Charles? You look stressed.
I passed my Japanese exam today, so that's one good thing.
All right. Well, I mean, if this is too much for you, we can.
I'm good.
All right. I'll ease off of you. Drink up.
I could put it on Sesame Street. I'll be happy.
Drink up, Betty Ford. And anyways, all right, like I said earlier in the introduction, we have an extra special guest tonight. He has been on Our Parents' Basement, I think, the most times out of any of our guests, if I'm not mistaken.
I think it's 4 times.
How many times? 4?
4, I think, is my 4th time.
4 or 5? I don't know.
All right. Well, I'm glad to have
him or Telly or Asa.
Well, yeah. Oh man, maybe they're tied.
I think they are.
I'm not sure. Well, either way, Retro Eric, welcome back to Our Parents' Basement. First, I'm gonna give you a little clap because it's good to have you back. And second of all, how have you been?
I've been pretty good. Streaming has been going well. Subscriber count's been going up, and it's been pretty awesome. Meeting a lot of new people in the streaming community, so it's been pretty fun. I've been enjoying it.
All right. Well, first I got to ask you, how's your back doing?
The back is doing okay. I started working out last week, and I think I did a little too much, so I'm kind of taking a week off this week, and then I'll probably start up next week again.
Okay. Now, inquiring minds want to know, what did you do to your back that caused you to miss out on the fun that was Retropalooza 5? Because we missed you there. We missed you.
Yeah, my regimen is to play I stretch a little bit and I play basketball, and I was playing against a smaller guy who's a guard. As me, I'm a bigger guy. I'm not too much of a guard kind of guy, but just got a little too low and just turned wrong, and that's what did it. And I herniated all my disc L2 through my S1, and I had a centimeter tear in my S1. So that's what the doc said in the MRI, and just pretty much got to take it easy, do therapy. And I got some good drugs to help with pain.
All right.
I got
ones, because you could have save them for next year's con.
When we all get to a certain
probably
age,
be gone by then.
We can't move like we used to.
I don't want to get used to taking it. I take it only when necessary. When I really need it.
We at Our Parents' Basement are not fans of the opioid epidemic that is plaguing this country. Anyways,
Nope.
Glad you're feeling better. We missed you at Retropalooza. It was very fun, but Charles wasn't there either. So next year I want you guys both there with your smiling faces, and it's gonna be a good old fun time. But Retropalooza talk was last show. This week we have a new topic. If I'm not mistaken, the what is it, 9th season of this show? Which one is it?
It's number 8.
The 8th season of The Walking Dead is coming up here real soon, and tonight's topic is about Sunday. And tonight's topic is about The Walking Dead. This is a series that has been 8 years. It's been going on, at least on the television. Now, in terms of its original form, the graphic novel, I think it's been around for a little bit longer than that, though I'm not
Lord.
really sure.
Oh, I don't even know when the graphic novel started.
It's been on
2008, 2009.
Something like that.
Sounds about right.
So it's not the graphic novel hasn't been out that long.
2001.
2001. Okay, so it's
2001. Oh wow.
Holy
That was
shit.
real.
so it's
I don't know.
darn near 20 years.
No, excuse me. That's the address of the Office of Publication, 2001 Center Street. I can't read. Let's try 2013.
2000.
That sound better?
Well,
No,
no,
'cause I read
because
it before that.
it started 2010 with the first season.
Okay, well, regardless,
What do you get when you cross an elephant and a rhinoceros?
graphic novel came out.
Anybody?
No, I don't know.
I missed it.
Elephino.
Elefino.
I think you told me that one. I already forgot the
That's pretty
punchline. That's cute. That's cute. No, anyways, the the graphic novel I'm pretty sure came first, and that's basically like the extent of my experience with this show, or with this franchise rather. It's a huge, popular franchise. The zombie apocalypse is nothing new, but I guess there's something about The Walking Dead and the way the story is told that really that obviously keeps people coming back for more. We've seen the story so many times, but what is it about The Walking Dead that actually just draws people in?
I'll tell you what. I'm gonna let Eric take a stab at this one, man. You got any idea what draws people into The Walking Dead?
Well, it's zombies for one, or walkers, if you would say on the show.
Biters.
People like walkers, or people like zombies. They kind of go back to the try to make it the old Romero type of zombies.
The slow, staggering zombies that can only be stopped with a bullet in the head.
And at the time when it started, there really was nothing. There was kind of like a zombie craze starting with the remake of Dawn of the Dead.
Mm-hmm.
And people love that movie. Then the next thing you know, you're seeing a lot of zombie movies come out. So that's when I think they decided to strike, hey, let's do The Walking Dead. Because there's really nothing on TV like that, like a continuing zombie story. You're like, okay, you watch Night of the Living Dead, you want to see, all right, what happens next, kind of thing. Continuing
I've got
story.
a little bit of a confession to make. I've never seen any of the Day of the, Night of the Living Dead or Day of the Living Dead or Dawn of the Dead or whatever. I've never seen any of those.
No?
Oh.
Well, they're gory. I will say that.
They're gory as hell. I think Day of the Dead hasn't aged too well.
Yeah, I agree.
The original Dawn of the Dead, that's the black and white one, right?
Night of the Living Dead?
No, Dawn of the Dead was not black and white. That was color too. But the remake of 2003, 2004.
Yeah.
With Ving Rhames was in it.
Okay. Oh, the one
Marcellus
on the
Wallace?
mall.
Huh?
Marcellus Wallace? No, is that what we're talking about?
No.
Yeah. Marcellus Wallace. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Pulp Fiction. Yeah.
Does he look like a bitch?
Funny. I've not seen Pulp Fiction all the way through.
Are you? Nobody. I don't think anybody's seen Pulp Fiction all the way through.
I have.
Well, no,
I have.
because it's chopped up into pieces. So who's actually seen it in order?
Someone actually has edited it to be chronological.
Of course they did.
Damn millennials! I tell you what. But
the zombies. Yeah, I think zombies create the story. It has. They got a good actor, Rick, to play Rick, and he's an English guy or British guy.
Andrew Lincoln.
Oh, cool.
Andrew Lincoln. He's a good looking guy. I'm not afraid to say it. He's a good looking guy.
You know what? There's nothing wrong with saying that.
And that first episode was epic. I mean,
if you haven't seen the first episode of The Walking Dead, it opens with a dude that's really confused walking down the street, and he goes around the car and sees a child, and the child is like half decomposed.
Yum.
It's a very creepy scene, and it really sets the mood for the whole show.
Was that? Well, let me ask you two this: how faithful is the show in comparison to the original graphic novel?
Yes. I haven't
close.
read all of the graphic novel, but I made it through about the first third of it. and it's pretty close. There's a lot of similarities. There's some characters that don't exist. There's some characters that are dead already.
Mhm.
There's some characters that should be still in the show, but they're dead or excuse me, they're dead in the show, but they're alive in the novel. But there's a very good similarity. They're pretty much following what's going on, just with minor things that have changed.
Interesting.
Doesn't the governor, he has a different storyline in the graphic novels than he did on the show?
No, the governor's he's pretty well.
He's spot on, pretty much.
Spot on. He's a different ethnicity.
It's cut down a little bit because he's a lot more ruthless in the comic, I believe, right?
Oh, he's bloodthirsty in the comic. I got to the point. You guys are probably beyond where I stopped reading. I got to a certain point with no spoilers, where certain main characters' cranium gets kind of shattered. So, and that's as far as I'll say. I think Turf knows where I am.
Oh, that's pretty much where they picked up the last season. Something sounds like it.
Yeah, that's about where I stopped.
You were in issue 100.
They did. They did Untouchables.
I'll tell you what. Let's just go ahead and stop right here. If you're worried about spoilers for The Walking Dead, you probably need to turn this off. Go watch The Walking Dead and then come back on. We're going to do a spoiler show. It's going to be spoiler filled. So I don't want to tiptoe around anything here. We're going to talk about it like we're all fans. You're not allowed. Nobody on this panel is excused. You all have to stay now. You're here. So you're going to be spoiled. Sorry. This is going to be one of those, like, everybody's caught up. So we're just going to talk about what's going on in The Walking Dead. Sorry. Now y'all can go ahead.
So, the governor, he still gets killed off in the comic book, right?
Yes.
Okay. But I thought he had a different, but it happened. Did it happen differently than what it did? Didn't he live long? He survived longer in the comic book than he did on the show or something like that?
No.
In his storyline?
It was about the same. He gets his dick nailed to the floor. That's kind of pretty gruesome. Rick loses a hand.
Yeah,
the governor chops his arm off.
I remember that in the book.
They keep teasing to that in the show too. Like they keep putting Rick's hand in jeopardy, like it's going to get cut off. And it's just kind of a nod to the people that read the comics. There was a whole bunch of it in the whole Negan thing last season.
Negan, that's his name. Yeah.
That's the barbed wire bat guy, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's Lucille. Show a little bit of respect.
Does he get his comeuppance, or is it not shown yet?
They haven't made it that far in the show yet. I don't know I haven't made it all the way through the comics, so I can't tell you. But I know that I'm sure he does, because
it's
good guys, bad guys.
Yeah.
Because, all I know from The Walking Dead is my old roommate. She'd watch it all the time, and she'd like scream like, "Oh!" You get emotional. So
it is an emotional show. I will say that you get attached to the characters, and then when they go off, kill your favorite character, it's pretty sad.
Well, I'll tell you, the whole show, it's centered around zombies, and we're talking about it because it's Halloween and the show's about to come on. But the walkers, the biters, the roamers, whatever you want to call them, they're more of just a set piece than they are the bad guy. Like the bad guy, it's been a long time since the zombies were the bad guy.
Yeah.
They're just like a catalyst for things to happen. The bad guy there's always going to be always a big bad. There was, the
governor was one.
The governor, and then now Negan, and there was the wolves, and there was the saviors. No, the saviors are Negan's people. What were the guys at the hospital?
Well, it's just the one security guard a couple of them, but the hospital people.
I remember the hospital.
You had Shane. He was the story around season 1 and 2.
I like Shane. I think he would be doing excellent now. I think he would thrive in the post-apocalyptic world. They were trying to be too human in the first and second season.
Yeah,
you can't.
He was already ahead.
Yeah, that's the thing with the show. Like one of the taglines was like fear run from the dead but fear the living, or something catchy like that. Like the zombies, they're dangerous, but now it's clear that lots of these characters have lost their humanity.
Right. The zombies are they're dangerous like fire is dangerous. it'll kill you if you get close to it, but it doesn't have a mind of its own. It's not plotting against you. It's just a force of nature.
Yeah, like for the walkers, the zombies, they don't have any cognitive ability, but that's the only thing they know. They know some people who are not walkers yet, so they know to go after them. They know if the walkers are in their groups, they don't go after each other.
Well, they kind of explained that in season 1 because Rick and the group, they kind of cover themselves in guts and whatnot, and they, I guess, isn't it just Rick and Glenn? And they go through the crowd covered in guts, and the zombies, they apparently go by smell.
Okay.
So
it's been used a couple of times in the show.
I know, what's her name? The black chick with the
Michonne.
Yes, didn't she have her own 2 walkers for a bit? She tore off their bottom part of their jaws and stuff like that.
Yeah, she cut off her arms,
pulled off her teeth.
Yeah, so they couldn't bite her or scratch her. She's gangster, man. That girl is awesome.
I love that chick. She is fierce.
Now, the difference between there is actually Michonne was not supposed to be Rick's love interest. It was supposed to be Andrea, but they killed her off.
She killed herself off.
Oh yeah, because the zombie bite. But
she was in season 2, 3. Did she?
All of them. 1 through
3.
Wait, yeah, wasn't that the main character's wife or something?
No, that's Lori.
Lori.
Yeah, Lori.
There's goofy women in the show that need to die. We got Michonne. We got some, tough chicks. We got Carol, that are tough, and then we got Lori and Andrea. That, man, in the show, they needed to go.
Really, they were annoying.
Yeah, well, Lori just kept getting in trouble. She just kept making stupid decisions and undermining Rick's authority and just being a whiny C-note.
No, because she still had feelings for Shane too.
Yeah, she did, and then of course Shane gets his in the end. He put a baby in Rick's wife. Spoiler alert.
Oh, the scandal!
And they kind of revealed it, or Rick. They didn't do a test or anything. Rick kind of just knew it was Shane's baby, or Shane was the dad or the father, but of what's the little girl's name?
Ooh. She probably got a baby from Usher too, that whore.
Yeah. Talking about Judith?
Prime Scout asked if we played any of the Walking Dead games yet.
No, I have not.
I have it on Steam, but I haven't played it yet. They're supposed to be really good. And I like, if he's talking about the Telltale games, that's the one I'm talking about. It's supposed to be excellent. I've got season 1 and 2 and still haven't played it. So,
well, it's a season, Turf. It's Halloween. You should pop those in. And
I should. I'll do that in all my spare time, but I'm too busy doing podcasts and things like that.
I know. It's podcasting. Priorities.
All right, I'll tell you what. We're going to clean that. We've been kind of rambling. Let's just back up, and there's like a little intro to The Walking Dead. If you had to put The Walking Dead into, say, a paragraph, Eric, how would you explain it?
How would I explain it?
Yeah. I'll come back to you.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, The Walking Dead pretty much is how people will, and to me, how people relate to each other, how people will carry on if something catastrophic happened in the world. In this case, it's a zombie apocalypse. How do you deal with that? How do you deal with the dead when society collapses? What's going to happen? How would people react? And it's just kind of exploring, to me, and this is just kind of artsy-fartsy talk, they're kind of exploring humanity and what it takes for people to get to their base instincts.
Yeah, that kind of like what you feel when you watch the show. It's like, what would I do in this situation? Like if I had to shoot somebody in the head, or like Morgan had to shoot it. He couldn't shoot his wife in that first episode. Like he just couldn't do it. Could I do that? No, I don't know if I could.
Do they turn to zombies if they're bitten?
Yes.
They do. Okay, so it is one
Scratch,
of them.
bitten.
Oh, even if you get scratched.
If you get scratched or bitten, you get a fever and then you die. If you just die, like somebody stabs you in the chest, you turn into a zombie. If you get mauled by dogs, you turn into a zombie. If you have a stroke,
natural
causes.
So if you die, you turn into a zombie.
Really?
It's like
unless you take a shot to the head.
Isn't there like some everyone already has the virus in them or something like that?
That's the theory or whatever. Did they ever confirm that in the show?
They never. It was through Dr. Jenner saying that he tested all their blood and they carried a virus, but it was never explained how they got the virus or where it came from.
So what they're pretty much saying is everybody has it, and if it's it's a pandemic that's covered the world. That if you get it, you die, you come back, unless you destroy part of your brain. Somebody destroys part of your brain. That's why you can shoot them in the head or stab them in the head. Or
came from water, I bet.
Right.
So, is it?
I think it came from third base.
I was thinking about this earlier today. Is it kind of like there's like a symbiote like being in you? Is it the virus? So once you physically die, it takes over in your brain and controls all your bodily movements. Since biologically, if you die,
right,
you have no blood flow or anything so.
That's a good question because they don't have to breathe, do they?
No, it's just the brain. The brain moves the parts.
It's like
it's our neurological.
It shuts down and you're more like a cockroach. Like you don't have you have more of a central nervous system than a brain.
Huh.
So it's just something that just gets your central nervous system functions, but
yeah,
everything else is. So you got no respiratory or cardiovascular.
So if you were able to open up somebody's brain and then you were able to dissect it, you could actually pick around and actually make little parts move.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember reading about that in anatomy class.
Yeah. So it's kind of like there's almost like a symbiote being that's living inside your brain that's waiting for the rest of your body to kick off. You're like your cardiovascular system to die off, and it takes over, I guess.
But do you still need to feed yourself? Do they still eat? Or are they just there just to be savages?
They're driven by hunger because they do eat,
Okay.
but they don't have to have food. Does that make sense? They don't die if they don't eat. Like they found one that was just caught in the mud, and there's no telling how long he'd been there. But he was just there being really hungry. They're driven by like a primitive whatever to feed. And like even the ones that like it's just a head, it still tries to bite.
It probably affects the part of the brain where it makes you hungry.
I'm just taking this little head hopping around, like chomping, like Pac-Man.
Sorry.
I just wonder for the walkers, will there come to a point where the physical bodies, are they physically decompose at some point?
Well, if you watch the show, the walkers from season 1 and the ones from season 7, the 7 ones are way more decomposed. They're slowly decomposing as the show goes on, which is a really cool piece of whatever tidbit detail. There we go, detail. I had a brain fart that they have done in the show. I thought that was awesome.
Tell everyone I say hello.
So,
hello.
Hi, Jenny.
They say hi to you. Thank you, Jenny. But so this is more of me getting technical. What is the actual time frame that has passed on the TV show on the screens? Because I'm not too in it, so I don't know how much time has actually elapsed from where they are.
Isn't it like
now?
3 years? Isn't that what they said? Or
oh wow,
I don't know. But Carl's huge, so I mean, I wanted to go on by that. Maybe 7 years. It started in 2010, so
yeah. I don't know. There's a lot of people that kind of have guessed, but I don't think they've ever said, have they? They were going by winters for a minute.
Well, think about it. There's no snow, so I mean, they skip the snow.
Well, doesn't it take place in like Atlanta? They don't get much snow in there. So
it gets cold, but I don't know.
They do 10, 12 episodes a year, right?
But was that Charles?
They do 10, 12 episodes a year, isn't it? Something like that? Per season, something like that?
Eight
16?
Between the two. Like part A and part B.
Okay.
Cool.
It was originally only 6 episodes, and then I think season 2 was 13 episodes, and then they boosted to 16.
Excuse me.
Get ready to try. Cool. We can make money on this. Let's do more episodes.
Yeah, basically.
We got a hit here.
Oh yeah, it's been huge.
Wasn't there one of the actors, not the main character, but like I guess his second in command, his friend. Wasn't he supposed to be? Yeah, wasn't he supposed to be in like a Silent Hill game or something?
He was, and they canceled it.
Norman Reedus, yeah.
Norman Reedus, that's his name. Thank you.
He was supposed to be. He was going to be in that PT or whatever they called that Silent Hill game. But it collapsed and he wasn't in there, or they never made the game.
Damn, that'd have been cool.
Yeah, they had the beta. The people they had beta on their machines, and they were actually selling their PlayStations with the beta on it.
Huh.
For more money.
Oh, I'll bet they are.
Because it was so good. But whatever. I guess they don't like money.
I would have played the hell. Oh, Konami. Anyways, though, I was just thinking out loud. Turf, you're about to say something.
I don't know. There's no telling. There's really no telling what I was about to say. So,
and you see the trailer for season 8.
I haven't even seen it. I've been purposely avoiding everything about The Walking Dead since it started coming back around. For the last 2 seasons, I've been liked on Facebook, a fan on Facebook, whatever, of the Spoiling Dead fans.
Yeah,
and they kind of tell you what's going to happen beforehand because I just couldn't get enough. But I've been purposely avoiding everything just because I want to be surprised.
Well, they don't spoil that anymore on that website because I think they were trying to shut it down and whatnot, so they set it off to a separate website where you got to sign in with a name and password and everything if you want to see actual what's going on. So all they do is give pictures of what's going on. Because last season they said who died in the first episode of season 7.
Yeah,
and I guess they were a little pissed off about that. So
what a cool weapon, though, a nail bat. It's so gangster, old school. It's awesome. I'm talking about Negan. Is that his name? Negan?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Negan.
I like how in the comic he looks just downright mean. And they found this actor who I think was in what was that? Watchmen. He played the big superhero dude.
Played the comedian.
The comedian. Joker, comedian.
Comedian.
And I was like, wow, that they cast him really well. So
and that was one of those that he's actually a fan of the comics, and he was really wanting the part, and he was a fan beforehand. So you need to, if you can get out there and read, was it Jeffrey Dean Morgan? Isn't that his name?
Yeah.
Read his account of him trying to get the part of Negan. It's pretty impressive because he's legitimately like fanboying, really nervous about it, and then he tells a story about how he prepared for the role, and he's like, I have to nail this one. And then the way back lean was born. Which, if you hadn't seen the show, he really over exaggerates any kind of motion and any kind of body language and everything. And
he's expressive. What you're saying?
Excessively. and he gets to drop a couple F-bombs this season, so that's going to be a first.
Huh?
Wait, aren't there F-bombs like all over the place, or
no
in that show?
No.
Really? Oh, okay.
Fear of the Walking Dead is like the spinoff series. They dropped one already, but I think it was like the first F-bomb in cable television or whatever, not premium cable or whatever.
Oh.
And they get 2 in the season. I read something about that. You get 2 for the course of the season. So look out for Negan to drop an F-bomb.
Hey, fun fact. Negan and Maggie were Bruce Wayne's parents in Batman vs. Superman.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you something about Maggie. Oh, Maggie. She is possibly one of the most gorgeous women I've ever seen.
She's British too.
Yes, she is. And she has her Rick's Southern accent is kind of very, very hers. No, well, yes. Hey, Coral. I
think it's pretty good.
It's okay. But it's not. Hers is just so thick and so Southern Belle and how y'all doing, and
would you like some lemonade? Like
that?
Oh
yeah. And on top of that, what's her? I can't even think of her name. I should have prepared more for this. I'm drawing blanks, but she is absolutely just one of the most gorgeous women on the face of the earth.
She plays a character named Maggie, you said?
Yeah.
Lauren Coyan is her name.
There you go, Lauren. I was going to call her Lori or something like that.
I follow her on Twitter.
You should.
I won't tell Mo if you don't. So she's a pretty girl, huh?
Yes. If you can pull off the post-apocalyptic dirty look.
What's actually funny is Mo has a friend at work who's cousins with Aaron on the show.
Really?
And she gets tickets to the Walker Stalker or Stalker,
really?
Whatever.
That's awesome.
The con. So you get back to meet the cast and all that. And
hey, that'd be pretty cool.
Really awesome. Give me a ticket. Give me a ticket.
Nice to have some clout every now and then.
I want to see these small actors because they all look so big on TV.
The camera adds 10 pounds.
I tell you what, and there is something to that. Like the very few times I've run across somebody that is famous or somebody that's whatever has been on TV, I generally walk right past them and don't notice them until somebody else points it out because I expect people to be so much bigger than what they are.
Yeah.
But then especially I imagine Eric's like this, but I'm not a little dude. I'm probably a little average height, but I'm bigger than most. But then you walk past people and these are just normal people. They're just normal size, normal human beings, and you don't realize it. So that's just been really weird to me. You said that about little people. I'm like, yeah, that's kind of true.
William Shatner is 5'2", and I walked past him at Comic-Con. He had like little bodyguards on him. It's like, wow, he's a little shit.
He really is.
Like Mario Lopez is short too. Online it says he's 5'10", but he is not 5'10". I've seen him in person. He's close to my height.
No, Hulk Hogan. He's like they bill him as 6'6". I think he's like 6'3" or 6'4".
Yeah, Mario Lopez is short.
Well, that's another thing. Like wrestlers and stuff like that, you see them and they look like they're made to look like superheroes.
Yeah.
They're shooting the camera angles from below so that they look even bigger than what they are. Yeah, those guys. My brother a few years ago, he ran into Dave Bautista and Randy Orton at a Cracker Barrel of all places. Anyways, my brother has his picture made with him. I'm like, you've seen my brother. He's like 6 foot, 6'1", maybe. These guys, they look like giants. He's just, Zach may be like 2 inches shorter than them. I was like, yeah, these guys are not 6'8" or whatever they're supposed to be.
Except Andre the Giant.
He's a big guy, yeah.
He was big.
I don't know. I haven't run into many famous people. I've seen some Cleveland Cavaliers players, but they are as tall as they look. Yeah,
you don't realize how tall that is until you walk next to it.
It's ridiculous.
Well, just like college players. Like when I was in college, I ran into guys, see them play on the floor, and everybody's about the same height. I'm thinking, like the point guard's my height. That dude's still like 6'4", So that's
like, hey, down there.
He's the little guy, and I'm still going, hi, daddy. Anyways, completely off subject.
That's all right.
We never go off topic.
All right, this is about kind of the post-apocalyptic thing. Mm-hmm. I want to talk to you guys about something a little bit different, a little bit away from The Walking Dead. I want to know how well you think you would fare if a zombie apocalypse broke out. How do you think you would make it? Do you have a plan? Do you have like just your first instinct of what you might do?
Man, Eric.
Well, Mo wants to go to Michigan because that's where all the guns are at.
Not a bad plan.
Start.
So y'all got a good hookup. You need to just come south, Arkansas. We have more guns than Michigan, I promise. And then or we can all load up and go to Texas. Texas is big enough to be its own country.
Probably has.
Well, we'll go to Michigan, pick up the guns. We'll come on down.
Yeah, y'all grab the guns, and then we'll just load up and go see Ryder. How you doing, Ryder?
He's got a gun.
He's got guns, so we'll just go down to his place, and we'll be cool.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, load up on firearms and I'd channel a little bit of Michonne and get like some sort of sword or spear or something badass.
Oh, yeah.
I still want to look good while doing this.
I have swords.
Shit. But yeah, and I would try to be as. I don't want to say every man for himself, but I don't want to be a goody two shoes and try to rescue everyone because that would put myself and possibly others in danger. So
you got beer all over my clothes.
I would try to form a good small party of friends and just try to survive. Have parties if the occasion calls for it.
Parties.
There's some beer spillage.
I killed 5 zombies today. All right, let's party. High five and that whole thing.
There'll be lots of high fives and things like that.
Dude, you got a headshot. Awesome. Yeah. Achievement unlocked.
I think I would be okay. Is that I'm probably really being cocky or whatever when I say that, but I think I would be okay. My plan is to start a cult, and with me as a leader. And then I want to kind of be Negan because I think he has it figured out. You get everybody to work for you, and you just kind of got to rule with an iron fist a little bit. Not really rule with an iron, just make rules and make everybody follow them.
Mm-hmm. Are his rules really strict though?
Yes, and they're there's no exceptions. You can't have exceptions. You have to have order. And I'm on board with that dude. He's supposed to be the bad guy, but I am completely on board with him. Like, you got to have rules. You got to follow them.
I don't agree with the torture stuff, though. But yeah, he's got
torture.
Somewhat the right idea.
Yeah. That.
Okay,
some
maybe.
people are into that. Some people enjoy a little, kink, but he takes it to an extreme. If I remember,
he did throw a doctor into an oven, but that was a horse of a different color.
Yeah, he didn't do anything to deserve that either.
So yes, he is the bad guy, but the order part is what I'm getting at. You've got to have rules, man, and I don't know. That's just my thoughts.
I will say that Rick and was it Maggie and Herschel? They all had rules at the prison, so everybody was doing their part.
That they did, and everything was working just fine. Mm-hmm. So that's the key, man. That's the key to society. People want to say, people are good. People are not good. People are assholes without rules and without consequences. So that's just my social commentary for the evening.
And I would be like Rick, because I would be like, I'm a good, people reader. I can read people's bullshit. I would know who's good for the group and who's not good for the group.
You go.
But do you have it in you to cull the herd? Could you pull that trigger?
Oh yeah.
Wait, what'd you fucking call me?
Yeah, I did.
What about you, Charles? Could you survive?
I think so. I could do okay. I'm pretty.
You're short, so
I'm outdoorsy, so.
That's the big thing. I think I would be fine eventually. There'd be that initial culture shock of everybody raiding the grocery stores, and then whatever people are in the cities turning on each other pretty quickly.
Yeah, there'd be no food. Food would be the toughest thing. That's totally true.
That's why you need to come to Northern Arkansas.
You need to learn to farm.
I would just hide in the shadows and not get involved in shit. Let everyone kill themselves and then grab in and loot what they got.
You got to worry about walkers though too.
Mario Lopez is actually Walking Dead.
Well,
yeah, we up here, and like I said, in Northern Arkansas, we have lots of resources. We have the clean water. We've got a lot of fresh water. A good mountain spring for anybody. Well, not for anybody, but just for us that own it. And we've got land. We've got fertile enough land to grow stuff. We've got cattle. We've got lots of wildlife, and we don't have many people. That's the big thing. We just don't have people. So we just gotta survive the winters. Will be the hardest part. But other than that, man, I think we got it figured out.
Well, we got the
You're
lake
bringing another
here.
good point. Like, I would probably keep on heading further and further south because I hate winter. So I'd maybe somewhere nice like Naples or Miami Beach.
Going to Florida.
Now, you don't want to go to Miami Beach because think of all the old people in Miami. They're going to die real quick. So there'll be lots of like people that are almost zombies already. So they have experience.
You're going to get attacked by old
zombies.
But
darling.
It is.
That's true. I would be like the beach people because you'd be near a beach and you could just catch fish.
Yeah.
Fish and lobster.
And can the walkers swim? They're not swimmers. They'd be like.
They float.
They float.
Some of the ones that get bloated and stuff float to the top, and then
Okay.
So they got some buoyancy to them.
Well, if it is the apocalypse and if I play my cards right, I could probably score a really swank yacht and just, chill on that, let them, go. I would go to land still because, I love the sand. I love sunbathing and things like that.
Yeah, you get plenty of that when you're fighting off walkers.
You're gonna be the first one to die out of all four of us.
Hold on. I think he's onto something.
Abilities.
Well, think about it. If you get a sailboat, you get you going around with the wind. You're not ever going to run out of wind. You got a fishing pole. You can catch fish and catch small fish and use whatever them for bait and catch bigger fish to eat.
Just gotta find water.
I'm kind of on board with this.
What happens if you get a nasty storm coming after you?
Well, then you pull up to the bank and throw anchor, man. You don't have to venture way out.
Girl, I seen Life of Pi. He survived. I can too, and he had a fucking tiger with him.
Or be like Castaway and have the cave, live in a cave on the island.
Cave.
And a volleyball to talk to.
Damn volleyball. So.
Well said.
Oh man. Yeah. So I think we'd be okay, but there's some. Obviously, I think some others who are, especially like the younger, I call them like the iPhone generation that are so
Millennials.
attached to their electronics. Even after the millennials, they would probably be the first to. They're so reliant on electricity. And
It's got to go outside.
Oh,
I can't tweet about my hashtag zombie apocalypse. You know, like they can't do that anymore. So,
look, I got a zombie's head.
As it
zombie
bites
selfie.
Hashtag decapitation. Hashtag Ed Walker.
Oh man,
I really,
Hashtag
that was a good
YOLO.
question. I like that.
we gotta worry about stuff like that, man, because it's gonna happen. I'm gonna be right wing nut job. It's the government's gonna collapse and whatever.
God, the way things are going now.
Mhm.
Anyway,
Not a zombie apocalypse, but I don't know. The government could collapse. You never know.
See, there we go. There, you gotta watch out. I got people on board with me. We need to be hoarding guns and food. We need MREs for everybody. I'm
good to go. I've got mandarin oranges. I got my knife.
Wait, MRE?
Meals ready to eat.
Oh, cool. I didn't know that. That's a.
You know,
I've
like
never heard
those,
that term before.
like the ship rations or Navy rations.
Cool.
Yeah, okay.
Know how to make a Navajo fire?
What?
You know, dig a hole, put a fire in there, so you get very little smoke, so it's very covert.
That's good thinking. See, we need to know things like this.
Yeah, that's the stuff we need to know. I wish they taught us that in school.
I'll tell you what, and this is another thing that the people that I work with, you know, me and my buddies, we talk about. If something like this did happen, if everything collapsed, think about how long it took for cavemen to figure out fire. We're probably several generations before they figured out fire, right? We're already a leg up. Like, if you had half a day, you could figure out that you needed to start a fire, and you could probably figure out how to do it. Even, like, you know, Charles lived in the city his whole life. You could figure out how to make a fire in an afternoon, don't you think?
I've got a sparker.
Well, I mean,
Like
even if I just gave you 2 sticks and some dry wood, don't you think you could figure it out?
I've
So you
watched
didn't have any of that
Survivor
stuff.
Man.
Is that the one where you had to like go like that with them?
I wouldn't do that. I would do the bow
Jesus
and arrow.
Christ.
You make a fire bow.
There you go.
I would do the fire bow.
And
Fire bow? Like what?
Yeah.
Wait, what?
You get a piece of string and you wrap it around the stick a couple times, and you move the one stick back and forth, and it twirls the middle one.
If you didn't have string, you have to make string out of wherever your environment is, like out of tree bark.
Yeah,
tree
I would
bark or
help some other way.
Hair.
or you know, if you get an amino, just get some of their tendons. You know, you got a string right there.
Huh.
Yeah.
I didn't think of it that way.
I'm
It's
still
not very
going
humane,
with Shirley
but anybody
trying to volunteer that would give me some hair.
You know, I would collect all our urine, so we get tan leather, tan hides.
You know, you can use white oak trees for that, right?
You could. That's all.
Well, what if you don't got any white oak trees by you?
Well, see, I do, so I don't have to worry about that. Haven't you ever read My Side of the Mountain? Did you ever do that in elementary school?
No.
Okay, there's a story of this kid. He goes out and he's just going to live. I guess it's like, I don't know, living on the prairie times, little house on the prairie times. Anyways, he's going to wander off onto the other side of the mountain. He lives by himself for a year. And it's like a teenage kid. And anyways, that's kind of what that's about. And he knows things like how to tan leather, and he got to chew the edges to make it soft and things like that. And it was pretty neat. But that's where I learned that. It was My Side of the Mountain.
Cool. All right. Well, I learned a lot of things tonight, not just about The Walking Dead, but how to set a fire.
Fire bow.
Yeah.
How
to tan leather, which I was not expecting that one.
Yeah, urine's one of the things that they use for it. You know.
So let's see. I know, Jason, you watch the show, right?
Yes.
Okay. So what do you think is going to happen in season 8?
This season 8, it's either going to be kill Negan or the aliens show up. The show gets more and more weird as time goes on. And I think probably about the time that Abraham got hit in the head with a bat, it jumped the shark. And that's just my opinion.
Really?
Yeah, I think it's going to take a dump, and it maybe has this season and one more left before they cancel it. But like I said, that's just my personal opinion.
Me personally, I think they're going to capture Negan. They're going to get rid of the saviors. Probably some major characters will probably die. And probably the Whisperers are probably going to be the next in line to be the next enemy to fight.
Who are the Whisperers?
The Whisperers are an even badder group than Negan's group and Negan himself.
See, okay, now The Walking Dead is turning into Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah.
Like first you had like Raditz was the baddest guy, and then you had Vegeta, and then you had Frieza, and then you had Cell. Like every time there's a bad guy, there's a badder dude coming next season.
Nappa.
It's getting kind of ridiculous.
Well, okay, so spoiler alert. Okay, so you ready for this?
That's fine.
So you're watching, turn it off.
Here it comes.
Ezekiel gets beheaded by the leader of the Whisperer.
Oh, really?
And his tiger gets killed too.
Son of a bitch! I like Shiva.
That tiger might even get killed this season. I don't know.
Kitty.
That could happen.
Could.
I think
don't know
it
if it's gonna
probably
happen this season.
should. I think Shiva should probably go because I don't know. It's going to be emotional. Everybody likes a tiger, but the tiger's expensive to make.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and kill the
He's not a
tiger.
real tiger.
Maggie's
It's
baby, I
CGI
think,
tiger.
dies in the comic.
Good. We need more baby deaths in this.
Or
Babies
they
are holding us
never-
back.
I don't think it ever got born, so they might switch it around. They might have the baby born. I don't know.
I hope not, man. And this is fiction. I don't want dead babies in real life. So just
Yeah.
our parents' basement has a strong stance on no dead babies. But they like Judith. I want Judith to die. She's like 2 or 3 now.
Well,
They-
she was killed in the 3rd season, the comic book, in the
Yeah,
prison.
She died with Lori right at the same time.
Oh, when she was holding her when they were running from the governor?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
I
remember that.
I wish
picture.
Negan would grab Judith by the legs and hit her against a tree.
No, that'd be too graphic for TV.
Oh yeah, we can kill whatever, but we can't kill toddlers. I'm done with her, man. She needs to go.
You know why? Because there's so much of that shit going on in the news. It's just
That's true. That's very true.
like just
Oh.
yesterday, I read something like that. It was horrible.
All those news stories of children being swung against trees.
No, not trees, but worse than that.
I know, and that's horrible to say, but this is a fictional character, and a fictional.
There's some evil people out there.
There absolutely
Yes.
are. But I don't like the babies in the show just because they're used to create tension.
And it works. It does work.
It does, but it's been overdone. Like the first time, it was fine, but the 17th time, I'm like, man, that's enough. We don't need Judith here because she might cry.
Well, I haven't seen much of her last season or the season before that. Maybe just a couple here and there, and she's getting bigger, but that's about it.
Yeah.
She hasn't been part of the story, so
Thank goodness. I wanted them just kill her and Lori at the same time, like they did in the comics. That would have really got some people upset. Dead babies upset people.
That comic, I mean, there was like a full page spread of them getting shotgunned. When I turned that page, I was like, oh,
I know. I
not
saw that.
expecting
And I was like, ooh, that just happened.
I was like, oh man, are they okay? But no, obviously they weren't. So.
If you get
Yeah,
if
you're
you get
okay.
shotgun, you're not gonna be okay.
Yeah, and it was just the artistry. Who pens those comics? What's the guy's name?
Robert Kirkman.
Robert Kirkman.
Yeah, God, he is so talented at drawing. It's ridiculous. So I kind of want to get back to the comics now. You kind of convinced me to get back into it.
It's I really enjoy the comics. I really like it. It's a quick read.
Sure. Oh yeah.
It's way quicker than the first season is the first 6 issues of the comic.
It's a real page turner.
People also got to remember too, is like, oh, there's not enough action, blah blah blah. So, well, you can't have that fast-paced action every single episode. I mean, they got to slow it down a bit, develop the story, and then
Catch
go
your
into the
breath.
action. Yeah.
You definitely do. You have to. And it can't be, like I said, it can't be just balls to the wall the whole time.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well,
So what do you guys prefer more, the comic or the show?
I like the show.
the show.
Show.
The show, it's on Netflix. I could watch it the rest of my life. It's good story.
If you get a chance, watch the first season. If you haven't seen, or even if you have seen the first season, watch the black and white one. The black and white version of the first season is, I don't know what it is about it, but it just seems right.
More
I
like
agree.
creepy at home?
Yes, it has a really creepy feel to it.
Okay. Yeah. I might actually start watching the show now because all 7 seasons are now on Netflix?
Mhm.
Or
Yes.
6? Okay, so
All
I mean,
7.
binge watching is what I do best. One of the things I do best. So I mean, that sounds like a perfect show for
You
binge
can
watching.
devour it. Well, all right, we're kind of coming to the end. Eric, I want to ask you one thing. What character that when they died you missed the most?
I miss Dale.
Dale, I like Dale.
Dale.
He was actually supposed. He was the older gentleman. With
yeah. He was in the comics. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah. He was supposed to actually be. I think he's still alive, isn't he? In the comic, or did they kill him off finally?
If it's who I'm thinking of, like he died kind of when they're in the farm.
Yeah, it was too early. He wasn't supposed to die yet because I guess he was having some issues with some of the executives, and they decided to kill him off.
Oh,
But I like Dale because he was like the the grandfather of the group, kind of.
He was Herschel before Herschel.
Yeah, pretty much.
There's certain roles in this show that you could, if you watch it, you'll see the people feel or not feel or whatever. I mean, but like the role of Dale was filled with Herschel, and then after Herschel died, who was the moral compass? Glenn was kind of that for a little while. And then after
him.
Yeah, then Glenn got the and I can't remember who kind of is now.
It's kind of like Maggie, I guess, because she's like the leader.
Right. I mean, Rick's kind of like the de facto leader the whole time. Everybody's going to listen to Rick because he's going to lead these people to safety, and he really does for the most part. He takes care of his own, and he tries to do the right thing, even though it's not always a popular decision or always maybe even a good decision. It has good intentions. So
I would like to see Shane in this right now if there was no Lori story or anything like that, because he was totally ahead of the game.
Oh, yeah, Shane was
for everybody else.
We're all living in 2015, and he's in 3015.
Yeah.
That dude was ahead of the game. So, yeah, that's I would like to see Shane alive now. I think he would thrive. I think he would have given the governor his what's for a little quicker. He would have, Rick would probably be in the back seat. When Rick started losing his mind, Shane would have stepped up and said, "All right, guys, we got this," and then we'd probably marched on somebody. And I don't know. He, like I said, he was living in the future.
But now Rick, if he goes back to where he was with the governor, how they were sitting in that room together, he definitely would have killed him.
Yeah,
no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Is Rick starting to go is he starting to experience like a downward emotional spiral now? It's like he's starting to finally lose it.
Well, he lost it in the prison for a little while. He was hearing voices.
Okay.
And then he came back around, and then he was kind of a whip pup for the most of the last season.
He's not taking it. He's not taking shit anymore, pretty much, from anybody.
Thank God. I
They
like
spent
him
a
in the
whole
comic,
season
so.
of him being a sniveling little whatever.
You could say it.
I don't know.
Yeah, he got his revolver back in the
Definitely.
last episode of last season.
I hope he comes back, and I hope they just raise hell, and I'd like the all-out war to happen. But
Sure.
we haven't even mentioned the garbage pail kids or the trash people or whatever they're.
Yeah, they need to go.
They need to just be annihilated. Let's just slaughter them and take their guns.
The beach people, keep them. Get rid of that.
Yeah,
one
but it's all women. I like them.
They're still tough though.
They're just trying to mind their own business and want everybody to leave them alone. I can sympathize with that.
Yeah, and they're on the beach though. You can get food.
Yeah, like
That's right.
I'd be friends with them first, I think. I like beaches, so. But anyways,
Leonardo DiCaprio movie?
The movie, not that movie. The one with Barbara Hershey and Bette Midler, which I'm sure you've all seen many times.
Oh, that was The Beach.
You're thinking of the beach with Leonardo DiCaprio. Beaches is
Yeah.
Beaches is a classic '80s movie. Anyway, that's where
we'll talk about that next week. No.
Well, let's see. Well,
We're
next
running out of time.
Thursday, it's getting closer to Halloween. You should talk about like horror movies or something.
That's
great horror movies.
Might be our we'll plan for some. We can't spoil we spoiled Walking Dead. We can't spoil Our Parents' Basement for our viewers and listeners now, can we?
That's the podcast before my birthday.
That's it.
There you go. Birthday and horror
to look
movies.
forward to. We are running out of time. So as we always do, we have to, lament the fact that this hour is over. I'm kind of bummed. I'm actually really enjoying this conversation because I am a fair weather Walking Dead fan, and I think you guys convinced me to really. We have Netflix. It's there, so why not? Why not start a new
definitely
show?
worth a watch.
Yeah,
It's definitely worth it.
Get in the
excited to do
mindset.
that.
Get in the mindset. What would you do
Okay, sure, for sure.
if this happened to me? Would I do what they're doing?
Retro Eric, I want to thank you for coming on and joining us again. You are always welcome here, but I think you knew that already.
Yeah. Thanks for having me again.
Anytime.
Thank you.
Seriously, anytime. And Turf, I'm going to leave it to you to tell us where we can listen to this episode and other episodes again.
Well, I'll tell you what. If you like this episode of Our Parents' Basement, you can look right over there. There are 76 other hours of content on the YouTubes. And hey, y'all go ahead, give us a thumbs up, subscribe. We like you subscribers. We don't have many of you on YouTube because most of the people listen on the other place that I'm about to tell you about, and that's iTunes. iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, iHeartRadio. They get the audio-only version of this podcast. Check it out on there. Subscribe so you don't ever miss an episode. Tomorrow, there's actually, if you're watching this live, there's going to be a brand new, never before released audio-only version. Just a little something for you iTunes people or audio-only people. How about that?
There you go.
iHeart, Stitcher, Google Play, all you people. Yeah, I said it, you people. So, and if you like all that and you want to interact with us, hit us up on Twitter at OPB Podcast, Facebook.com/OPB Podcast. We're on the Instagram. We've done a little gramming the last little bit at OPB Podcast.
Yeah, we have. Yeah,
so
right.
Y'all check us out. Hit us up. I love hearing from y'all. I love all the feedback we get. Thank you so much for listening. Eric, thank you so much for joining us. It was a blast, as always.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, thank you again.
Anybody else got anything? Because I'm going to push a button if you don't tell me not to.
Well, if you
Alright,
two
can
want,
push
or
that
you
button.
guys, if you're not going to bed yet, you guys can watch me stream on Friday the 13th.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. That was very rude of me. Y'all need to check out the Midwest Retro Gamers on YouTube. Eric does lots of streaming. Mo does a little streaming on there too. His lovely wife.
She is fierce.
If you're into Friday the 13th, or are you still
Dead by
doing
Daylight.
Dead by Daylight? There we go.
Oh, yeah.
Check those out.
Fortnite, PUBG. I've been hitting a little bit of that.
It's pretty entertaining stuff. Lots of cool stuff going on over there on their channel. Subscribe to them. Hit them up on Twitter at MRG Eric.
Retro Eric. I changed it up.
MRG Retro Eric. Y'all hit them up. Subscribe, comment, whatever you want to do with them too. Is a good dude and it puts out good content. So now,
All right.
sorry about that, man. That
Turf,
was really
I think
rude
you
of
need a
me to get
drink. You are starting to.
That's fine.
There you go. That said, once again, Retro Eric, thanks for coming on. Always welcome back in the basement. And I think that's about it for this episode. So we will be back next week for a new one, and I cannot wait. So until then, take care, and we'll see you soon.
All right, deuces
See you
for
guys.
y'all.